Welcome back. Driven Dave here with another vlog for you. Um, if you tuned in, we recently went. We've been all over the place in this car, in the '98 LS 400. We've done Lancaster, we've done Riverside, we've done Bakersfield, we've done Santa Barbara, we've done San Diego. Change in pressure. Yes, I'm sure you heard my water bottle pop. So did my ear. But in any case, here we are. We're heading to beautiful Lancaster. It's actually a really gorgeous day today. I'm kind of most of the way through my drive now. I was listening to some music and just kind of collecting my thoughts and just enjoying the drive. But I wanted to share a little bit of it with you today. 77 degrees outside, sunny. I mean, it's just, I'm sure you can see in my window back there, just kind of farmland and mountains up here. It's really gorgeous. It's one of my favorite parts of driving to Lancaster is, all the beautiful sights of nature that I get to see, on these drives. And I think that's the best part of, doing what I do in addition to actually doing what I do. Those of you that know me know what I do. And but yeah, I mean, some of the travel is really, really nice, and it's fun to see different parts of the state, different parts of the country, etc. So a little update on the car. We had a pretty big storm last night. My car's not looking too happy. It is covered in dirt and raindrops and water spots and stuff. I need to run it through a wash. Hopefully today. I have a little kind of a lunch break. I'm going to see if I can run it over to Costco and get some gas, run it through their wash if I have time. Probably not, but I'm hoping. If not, I'll just have to do that tomorrow. But definitely needs to get done. Brought one of my favorites today. I got my leather 3-in-1 spray. So, little top tip for you guys: if you're going to drive to work or wherever you're going, you're going to leave the car for a few hours, hit your seats with the spray and wipe it off, like not completely wipe it off, leave it kind of wet and let that stuff kind of soak in, and it's going to leave your seats feeling really nice and soft. And it's been a while since I've done this car. It definitely needs it. Like, I'm feeling the door panel right now, and it's pretty dry. So this car, even though there is a lot of plastic on the inside, I mean, it was the 90s, but there's a good amount of leather. Each door panel has a section about this big of really nice leather, and it's really held up beautifully, and it's really pretty. My driver's seat, it's looking a little sad, but not super sad considering how old the car is. And if you look at any of these cars on like Marketplace or eBay or anywhere that you find a used LS, you will see the driver's seat is usually trashed. This one just kind of has some cracks, but it doesn't actually have any tears where like anything is completely separated, which for any car at this age and this mileage, very impressive. So that's really a testament not only to the quality of materials and the workmanship that went into this car, but I think also a testament to the owners, the caretakers of this car. Originally owned by a guy named, he had some fantastic old man name. I don't know why I can't remember. And then his son, who was also an old man, Robert, bought it from him. So it was like in the same family for 140,000 miles. And since new, bought it, Keys Lexus in Van Nuys. And Robert, truthfully, and I'm sure he's not going to watch this, so I don't mind blowing up his spot. I don't think he took particularly good care of this car. He garaged it, which was the best thing. And then he claims to have conditioned the seats, once a month or once every 3 months. I can't remember. And he said he used the Lexus leather conditioner. I might believe that, even though the seats were just disgusting when I bought this car. The whole car was disgusting. And shout out to my buddy Erm, who's probably not watching this either, but Thanks, dude. He helped me inspect the car and give it a good look over before I bought it, and he gave it the thumbs up. But yeah, I mean, the could tell you this car was filthy. Filthy. It's like the dude didn't do anything before I came over, to test drive it. His daughter's crap was all over the back seat. There were books and crayons, and I'm one to talk. I've got water bottles and food wrappers in here right now, but I clean it out, and if I was going to show it to somebody that might want to buy it, I would definitely tighten that up. I was stunned at his lack of care. And also there was just a general grime all over the car. Some of that has returned. The seatbelt could use a nice shampooing, but all the touch surfaces were like black, and up here on the light controls, everything was just kind of black and brown, just from years of dirty fingers touching it. It's just, I spent like 2 hours scrubbing the inside of this car just with various cleaners, getting it cleaned up. And the smell in here was, I pulled out the cabin air filter and it looked like it had never been changed. It was disgusting. Just smelled like old man Toyota. Old man Toyota. But, changed out the filter, cleaned everything up. I hit the door handles with some polishing compound to get rid of all the fingernail scratches. This car just, it was just, he got in it and drove it for years and years and years and years. From 1998 until 2015. I think his old man, his dad, whatever his name was, it was like Morton or something. I can't remember. But, I think he took really good care of the car. I think he took it to the dealership. I think he had it detailed regularly. No expense was spared. And then his son Robert bought it, and he just kind of drove it. And he put it in his garage, and then he took it to his car wash place to, every so often for an oil change. And he did no maintenance. I think it was just like if it needed brake pads, he would get brake pads. But, oil change, brake pads, no timing belt. Forget it. I asked him about the timing belt. He was like, well, yeah, I haven't done the timing belt. I'm thinking, dude, that's a rubber belt, man. And this car is how old? This was 2015 when I was looking at it. And he said, well, I drove it to Vegas. Got 26 miles per gallon, so I think the timing belt, is working pretty well. I was like, it doesn't work that way. The timing belt works, or the engine doesn't work. So, shortly after buying the car, I had to get the timing belt done because it was actually squeaking, and there was only like this much of it left. So I got super lucky. I shouldn't have driven this car down the street even before doing the timing belt. And here we are, I need to do it again all these years later, but I don't know. I may wait another year. I just don't want to drop $1,200 on this car right now. I've got just a lot of expenses have come up, and work has just come back for me post-COVID. So I'm behind the 8 ball already. So I think it'll be okay. If I did it in 2015, it's been 91,000 miles. Probably wait another year, maybe 2. I don't know. But so that's that. A couple of just thoughts on the car. And I kind of talked about this yesterday a little bit. Sorry about the shaky mount. There's not much I can do. But yeah, I kind of got very nostalgic on part of my drive yesterday. For several years, I drove this car every summer by myself up to Arcata, California, which is, almost in Oregon. And it's really, really gorgeous up there. I was working at a conference up there, and it's 700 miles each way. And I would either do it in one shot, 12, 13 hours on my own, or sometimes I would stop in Sacramento, see my dude Forrest, which was always really fun. I miss hanging out with him. He's a great friend, great dude. But I would always take this car, and when you spend that many miles in the driver's seat, you develop a certain kind of relationship with your car. At least if you're a car guy, and I assume if you're watching this, you feel me pretty well on this. And like whenever you take these longer trips, like you develop a certain kind of friendship with the car, and I certainly have felt that with this, many times, where I just kind of feel like my friend is taking me where I need to go, and I felt that yesterday, like in Bakersfield, or going to Bakersfield. It was along the same route that I would take to Arcata, and it just kind of made me nostalgic for, some of the happier times that we had maybe before COVID. And it was really awesome. And I was also nostalgic, like, for the 90s. Back when I was in high school, I was a young man, very naive and ignorant. I mean, I'm sure I'm still naive and ignorant, but just in a different way. And back then, certainly extremely ignorant and naive. But, simpler times, I think it's safe to say. I mean, 1998, that was before September 11th, 2001. The world was just a different place. And this car kind of, if you don't pay attention to everything that's around you, when you drive it, you can kind of, because of like how nice it is and how beautifully it drives, you're kind of reminded of those happier times, and you're reminded of what it felt like in 1998. And I just kind of feel like I said, if you ignore all the other futuristic cars and even this like amazingly fancy cell phone that does all this wonderful stuff, this car was before all of that. This car was about having a comfortable seat. This car was about having beautiful real wood made by Yamaha Piano Company. This was about having futuristic gauges that, light up out of the complete darkness. Really cool gauges. I still think they're really neat. And they're analog, but when the car is off, you can't see them. Like, the needles are virtually invisible, which is really cool. I think they used fiber optics, which back in the 90s was like the coolest thing. That was cutting edge stuff. A steering wheel that comes to greet you, which is still kind of a new idea. Just everything is buttery smooth. You just kind of feel like you're in a executive's car, or as they say on Top Gear, an executive saloon. And I try to imagine that here I am in a fancy late 90s executive's car, and I'm the executive, even though I'm just me. But I, even all these years later, I still kind of feel fancy driving this car.
In 5.9 miles.
Even if I don't look fancy driving it, I feel fancy. So, that's all that matters. Yesterday, I was kind of talking about like the power you get from a V8. In this car, I think if any of you got in it and drove it, I think your initial impression would be like, that's not very fast. And you're right, it's not, but it's powerful. So, there's a difference between fast and powerful. And really, for freeway driving, it's powerful and it's fast. When you compare it with any of the modern cars that are geared towards getting good gas mileage, my Kia does great on the freeway. It'll keep up with really anything. And I never really feel that I'm lacking power in that car, but I do feel that I have to kind of, like, that car has to kind of wind itself out to keep up. It's kind of, but it'll do it, and it's fine, and it'll still turn good gas mileage in, which is, for me, really important. But driving around in this thing, it just kind of gets into high gear. You give it a little bit of gas, and it just, it doesn't even have to spool up. It's chilling at like 2,500 RPM. It may get up to about 3,100 RPM, and by that time you're doing, really close to triple digits. So it's a properly powerful car on the freeway. And, if you do a lot of driving like this, if you don't mind paying for the gas, there's really, there are not a lot of tools better for the job than this. And it drives very straight, kind of, but it's really planted on the road, and it's not gonna like pound your bones on the road, which is great. But yeah, it just kind of takes me back to a simpler time, happier times, and if you can ignore the current context, you believe you're still in those times when you're in this car. So it's really cool. In any case, looks like I'm pretty much in Lancaster now. I was hoping I'd see something cool, some sort of wacky car to film or something. There was kind of a crazy looking trailer earlier, but I couldn't get the phone out in time. But yeah, here we are. I'll probably tap in later when I'm done doing what I have to do. Maybe I'll take you with me to the car wash. That'd be fun. Just update, I filled up last night in Bakersfield. We're down. We're down past 3/4 tank. So the needle's like right in between 3/4 and half. And it says I can do another 203 miles, averaging 23.7 on this tank, which really pretty good considering I just drove up a mountain. 159 miles since refuel, 2 hours and 16 minutes since I filled up, averaging 69 miles per hour. And temperature gauge looks good, no warning lights. I mean, just kind of smooth sailing at whatever speed I want to go, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'll check in with you later. Howdy folks. Hey, a BMW doing something dangerous. Hey, how about that? Never imagined I'd see that. Actually, again, what's more impressive is that it's like the worst generation of 7 Series, and it's not blowing black smoke. We are seeing some amazing sights together, friends. I will tell you, one of his headlights was burnt out. So, yeah, I mean, I guess one has to wonder, A, is that car meticulously maintained? Or B, is it just a Christmas tree of warning lights? I'll let you figure it out. Comment down below, let me know what you think. I mean, I'm kidding. But seriously, comment down below. What do you think? We'll see. I'll try and kind of keep up with him. I mean, it's no problem to keep up with him in this car. I just don't want to get a ticket, you know what I mean? But I am kind of curious to see what he does next. This is probably going to be some stupid, crazy stuff. And at least that'll make for some good content. But I hope he doesn't hurt anybody. So just kind of like dovetailing on the video from earlier today, I couldn't remember the guy who owned this car. It was Irving. That was the original old man. And then his old man's son, Robert, bought the car. And now I guess I'm the old man who owns this car. And that's kind of why we call this car the old man. My wife just said, that car looks like an old man. So it's the old man. And my son calls it the old man. I just love it. So we're in the old man, the 98 LS400. Almost, more than halfway done with my drive.
In 5.5 miles.
I know. Sorry about that, folks. But, yeah, really glad that I remembered Irving. So, heading home in the old man, and just thought I'd give you some stats, and just give you a little bit of heads-up display here, show you the drive. I think I'm going to go ahead and just scoot scoot over here, show a little bit of that uphill V8 power. Wow, that's a higher speed than I thought I was going. Well, that brought my average down by a tenth. 23.6 miles per gallon, my average for this tank, and gone 201 miles since refilling last night. 3 hours of driving, 66 miles per hour average, and it says I can go another 180 miles. Not too shabby. I mean, it is shabby if this were, a hybrid, but for what it is, that's really good. I mean, the worst part I think about having a car channel and vlogging about a Lexus is that there's really not there's not a whole lot of action. It's just you get in and the car drives great, and the end. But I don't mind telling you how beautiful it drives, and I've really, and I'm sure you're all sick of hearing it, but I've really just been enjoying my trips, kind of back and forth, as I've been driving quite a bit the last week, more than usual, frankly. But yeah, we've just been having a lovely time together, me and the old man. The automatic climate control really works just so nicely in this car. It just feels, there's just air, you can't really tell where it's coming from, but it just always feels lovely and soft and just perfectly conditioned. And I love that about this car. The brakes, I have to say, after my dude George changed out my my brake fluid a few weeks ago, the brakes have really been feeling good. It's a very soft brake pedal, but I've been getting good, I feel like I've been getting good bite out of the pads and plenty of stopping power, which is a very reassuring feeling, especially when you have a car that weighs this much and getting it up to the speeds that we get it up to, on the freeway. And you want to have good brakes. And the new tires, the Michelin Defenders, those have been doing well. I do feel a little bit of vibration at higher speed. I don't know if I'm getting used to it or if it's getting better, like maybe the tires are breaking in like the guy said. I still don't know if that's true. Comment down below if you've ever felt like your tires break in. That's still kind of a new concept, but hey, I'm willing to learn, as always. I'm trying to have an open mind. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have for today. I did release a few new videos. I've got one on the cabin air filter. Looks like I may have reversed the direction of the airflow. I need to double check. I got a comment on that video where the guy said it should be pointing down, not up. So maybe I screwed up on that. In which case, it's been screwed up for a long time, and it hasn't made that big of a difference. But hey, maybe I goofed, which is very possible. There's also another video on my turtle wax headlight restoration, and I just finished editing that and putting that up. And I think, the camera work could have been a lot better, admittedly, but I think it's a pretty good video, and it shows kind of my experience using the kit, and it's also a pretty quick video. So if you're interested in restoring your headlights on your car, and you want to do it on the cheap, check out my video on the turtle wax lens restoration. I think it did a really good job. I conditioned my driver's seat today. It feels really nice. I used the Gryet's 3-in-1 leather cleaner and conditioner, and I think tomorrow I'll try and get the passenger seat. When I get to where I'm going, I'm going to spray it, let it soak, and do the whole treatment. Try and do the center console as well, or the armrest. And I have one of the few LS400s that doesn't have a cracked armrest, so I want to keep it that way. And it just takes a little tiny bit of maintenance to do. So folks, in the meantime, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you, or even if you just want to say hi, I would love that too. Like, thumbs up, share, subscribe, you know the drill. I would appreciate any of that, and I will see you tomorrow for another drive. We'll see what happens. It should be very exciting. I still have a little bit of driving to do on my way home. If I see something like a BMW driver acting crazy, maybe I'll film it and throw it in. But unless I see that, I will see you all in the next one. Take care.